Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to exit the donut.
I think I'll just do like an intro separately so we don't have to like figure out an intro
Okay.
straight off the bat. I think it's recording now.
Okay.
I think the first thing I was going to talk about anyway before we get into the topics was about the branding, because just in case the other podcast with the exact same name and idea comes for us. Which I don't think they will.
I don't think they will. No.
Basically, first we were going to come up with an idea for the name like just after we recorded it, weren't we?
Yeah.
Because that's what I thought about doing, because I thought at least we can just get it done and then just figure it out afterwards. But then I immediately decided I was going to start thinking of ideas straight after that, because obviously
It's you.
yeah, as soon as I start thinking about that, I'm going to
Not stop.
not stop. So the first thing I thought of, which is like, now I think about it, it's very generic and boring, but it kind of works, was the I can do this all day.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if that's
I
the
thought
exact
that was
quote.
generic. That's why.
Yeah, I was like, that'll do for now, but it's a bit
yeah.
generic. But then I immediately looked it up, and somebody, obviously, because of how generic it is, no offense to the podcast that's doing it, but
It is very generic.
it exists. And they're doing like the same. It might be specifically just MCU stuff theirs, I'm not sure, but it's the same sort of thing. So I was like, can't really do that. So then I did.
Yeah, I didn't help.
Looked at a few other MCU. It was just an MCU quotes page article thing, because I thought that would be a good way to find out.
MCU fan wiki.
I don't think I've ever been on that.
I've never been.
I've been on the TARDIS wiki,
Of course you
which is
have.
the Doctor Who one. You've been on that a lot. So there was a few of them that I found. One of them was Box of Scraps, which I liked the idea of, but I think I did see there was maybe like a podcast called that, but I couldn't tell if it was
Ongoing.
a reference.
No.
I couldn't tell if it was a reference to the MCU.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't tell what they were covering straight away, but I thought it's possible that there is one somewhere that might not be on YouTube or something that's doing it. There was another good one besides the actual one we went with. Does Anybody Want to Get Out, I think?
Oh yeah, that was.
Because I thought that one might be good, because it's kind of similar to the first one, but a bit better of an idea. So wait, where did I get up to? So yeah, so then I looked, one of the other suggestions I put forward, Exit the Donut, which is the one that we obviously went with.
Yeah.
I thought you weren't going to want to pick that one.
No, it was.
I thought
it was
that
the best.
I
one
was
by
like,
far.
that's maybe a little bit too like obscure and weird of a thing. So I was like, you're probably going to go with a more obvious one. And I was like, you might not even get what it's from, because I think I said this to you on the way here, but I don't think I've even seen
I've not seen
Iron Man 2, to be honest.
I know it because I know like one of the most iconic things from it is
Yeah.
him in the donut.
I remember the shot, so like the moment where he's obviously sat in the donut without even having seen the film. I didn't actually know that there was that line there, though. I think I just knew that the image of him sat in the donut. So I went with that one. Decided we both liked that one.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's too vague of too weird of an idea that someone's already done that. So I didn't even bother checking. Made the logo, and then I literally messaged you saying, we have to do this now, because I was really happy with the logo that I made. Started setting up all the audio platforms and stuff ready, and then as I was searching on like Apple Podcast or something, or maybe it was on Spotify, to try and find what the stuff that I just set up and see if it was set up properly, a different one came up instead of mine or above mine that was this. It's the same idea, the same title,
Same
and they're
premise,
doing the same thing. I feel a bit better about that, because it's been like inactive for nearly a decade. It was like 2015 or something.
Yeah, that's fine.
They did like 10 episodes in like 2015 and then kind of stopped. So, but if they come for us,
We don't have lawyers.
we don't have lawyers. No, we shouldn't say that. No, we'll probably just like, I don't want to change the logo. That's the problem. So we'd have to just somehow keep it donut related. I think I said we'd change it to like the big donut or something.
Big donut.
But it just the title, which is fine when you see the title with the logo, you'd still get it. But the name of it doesn't sound very. I don't want to say MCU, but obviously that's kind of what the first thing is about. But we're not going to just talk about MCU.
We're not
in
just
this.
limited to the MCU. Luckily.
Yeah, basically whatever. We've been talking about ideas, and we might even just do like a horror thing, which is like a little bit further away from kind of the other stuff, which is just whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah.
But the main stuff will probably be like MCU, DC. It's DCU now, isn't it? I think with
so.
James Gunn's, because it was
Probably.
DCEU, I think, but now I think it's DCU, and then like maybe like Star Wars and stuff like that. But also just kind of whatever we want, really.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of it for the branding thing. Don't worry, I'm gonna be editing this afterwards, so don't worry about when there's gaps. I'm gonna burp.
Please don't do it on mic.
Oh no,
I was gonna kick,
get the monster thing ready so I can burp as a monster.
but I didn't end up doing it. Never mind.
For God's sake.
Okay, I should probably introduce you, or
Probably.
you introduce yourself. I didn't even think about
I'll
that.
let
I
you
thought of
do
it
it.
halfway through the story, but I didn't want to cut the story off of
Yeah.
planning it off. People probably might already know who I am, but I don't know if people are going to find this from my channel or just find
Yeah.
it in general. So for those who don't know who I am, I don't like saying my own name. I'm Joey. This is my channel that you're probably watching this on, unless you've just found it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or something. I normally talk about Doctor Who all the time, but I do actually like other things.
Surprisingly.
So that's kind of why I wanted to start this. Before I get on with saying the rest of what I was going to say, actually, then I'll just let you...
What do I even say about myself?
I guess everyone just needs to know your name more than anything is probably the big thing.
I'm Zach. I don't really do anything.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of like content creation.
No.
So I'm just kind of... I'm here. I'm here to rabble on for like 2 hours, basically.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's me.
neither of us make Minecraft videos anymore like we used to do in 2013. Yeah.
God, they were hits. 20 view hits.
You said you might be streaming at some
Maybe.
point, though. So
Once I get my PC sorted.
if you've sorted that out between... not necessarily between this episode and next episode, but at some point whilst we're doing this, I'm sure you could probably
drop the
shout it
Twitch,
out if you want.
I don't even know what my Twitch name is going to be.
Yeah.
It's currently pending as a Grandmaster Kitten Whiskers, but that's an in-joke with me
Okay.
and Jay, so...
Yeah, that might not work for most people.
No, let's just ignore.
Yeah, maybe give up on that idea straight away, actually.
just Zach Hazelhunt's boring, so... you know.
Yeah. Who would have a YouTube channel named after them, just their name? Yeah,
Yeah,
who
well-
would do that?
Shut up. That's not what I was saying.
No. We're kind of just going to do these. This isn't going to be like a weekly podcast.
It's like as and when, isn't it?
Yeah.
When we can be bothered.
Basically, I decided to do this first one just because there was a few things that we actually would have interest in talking about, basically.
Yeah.
So it's going to kind of be when the same thing happens in the
When
future,
something
pretty much.
exciting happens.
So this one is just because there's a few things we can talk about that aren't boring MCU that has been the past 2 or 3 years or something.
The fall off. That's,
Which is weird to say because this is also the year where we're getting one MCU film only. I don't know if you knew that we're only
it's
getting
Deadpool 3, isn't it?
Yeah, we're only getting Deadpool 3 this year. Oh, and also, I should probably mention now that we're in the studio, this is probably going to be the only one that's
In this studio.
in the studio. We might be able to get one more out
Maybe.
here. Because basically this is at my uni and I'm in final year right now, so
And I don't go to uni. So
yeah, so I had to sneak him in. No, I didn't actually. We got permission for him to come in here.
stuck in through the vents.
But they have told us.
Style.
But they have told us to sneak out very quickly at the end. So
Yeah. I've selected the window I'm going to burst out of.
yeah. This right outside.
several.
You can probably see it in Zach's camera, but there is. I think there is windows right outside
Just
there.
ignore everyone out there.
What I've said, and this might change, but we'll probably do the next one when Deadpool 3 comes out
Yeah.
as like a review episode, and maybe there'll be some news at the start or something or at the end. Because I think Deadpool 3 is out in like June or July.
Probably. I can't remember.
It's somewhere at some point.
I'll
So
be honest. I watched the trailer at work and can barely remember anything in it apart from the.
oh, you probably
the
should
hype
have
bits.
watched it before this podcast. Because we're going to be talking about it.
Well, I remember like the stuff that everyone went crazy over, but I don't remember like
The one shot where he spins around, which is, and they're like, wow, this is crazy. They should do more like this. But he just spins around. We'll get into that anyway. I think before we get on to like the first proper topic, I might just quickly look at that camera and see if it's still working.
Okay.
Obviously, I'll call all this out, but
I keep looking at it.
okay,
now to make sure it's still
so
recording.
I was, yeah, it's fine. You don't have to look at it every minute, but
I'm going. Well,
do.
okay.
Yes.
So I do have to look at it every
yes,
minute. Okay.
do. So I was maybe going to lead into Deadpool 3 because we were sort of talking about it, but
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to do something else before that, and we did kind of stop talking about that again. So maybe I can actually do what I was going to talk about
Okay, go ahead.
first, because Deadpool 3 and Fantastic Mr. Fox.
No, that's the wrong one. That's the Wes Anderson film.
Fantastic?
Fan Foster. No, that's
Rise of the Silver Surfer.
that. No.
Fantastic Four.
There we go.
The Fantastic Four.
The
That's not
Fantastic-
what we're talking about now. They're going to be the main topics is what I was actually going to say.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get to those a bit later on and hopefully not run out of time. What does this one do? Oh, new topic. No. So what I wanted to talk about first was, and this is the thing where I said it's okay if you don't know certain things because they'll probably add to the kind of format. Because I haven't even told you that we're going to talk about this. I don't think probably. Maybe I mentioned it
Probably
slightly.
not.
How much do you know about James Gunn's Superman?
I know the cast, and that's about it.
Prove it.
I know Nathan Fillion is in it.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
I know Supergirl's been cast.
Because there was some, I was going to mention the main ones and then just kind of be like, and I know some other people have been cast, but I can't really remember what they are.
Mr. Terrific's been cast, isn't he?
Yeah, he is the guy,
Darwin
in First Class. But yeah, with those guys, I couldn't remember if they were going to be in I would say Superman Legacy, but apparently that was one of the things I'm going to talk about. Apparently he's been renamed to just Superman now, which I think makes sense. But yeah, those are some of the ones that I wasn't sure about. Like, I know they've been cast and they were cast early on, but I know some of them are like members of the Authority and something else, which I don't know enough about the Authority to know what. I don't have authority on the Authority. So I don't really know what that is, but I'm pretty sure they're meant to be making an appearance in Superman. That's what they were confirmed for. But there is also meant to be an Authority movie or show coming out after it or something. People don't know if they're going to be like heroes or anti-heroes or villains in Superman or something like that. But you know the main... and Nathan Fillion's, he's one of the Green Lanterns, right?
He's a Guy Gardner.
I don't know enough about him. I just know that he is a Green Lantern.
From his last name, he might be a gardener.
He's got green hands. What do they say about Gardner? Green fingers, small cock.
No, we just offended every farmer in the planet. Oh, good job.
Big socks,
big
feet. So yeah, so what?
I'm worried it looks like I'm trying to rizz up the camera.
Yeah, I think the main thing was it'll be a bit more difficult for me to sync it up in editing now, but that's fine.
Just cut me off for like 3 minutes.
I plan on it.
Oh, okay. How much of this is actually going to be me? It's like 2 seconds.
None of it.
Okay, this could be a bloke just sat across from you.
Yeah, this is actually just an excuse for me to record a video with myself.
You do that already?
More excuse. Okay, yeah. So
something about.
Do you know about the main cast of that yet? Because you mentioned the ones that aren't literally the guys.
Holt is,
Lex Luthor.
I forgot who Lois is.
Rachel Brosnahan.
Who?
I can't name a thing she's in that I've actually seen, but I've heard of her.
I know the guy who plays Superman. I don't know his name.
David Corenswet, I think.
I definitely.
It's not Henry Cavill.
I gathered it wasn't Henry Cavill.
Just in case you thought it was Henry Cavill.
I did not think it was Henry Cavill.
The hierarchy of the DCU is about to change. Do you remember that with the Rock?
With Black Adam. Oh, that really wonderful film.
Obviously, Henry Cavill's coming back because he was in Black Adam. And then they immediately announced he's not coming back.
They immediately announced that no one is coming back.
Also, we need to bring back Zack Snyder, right?
Please no. Did you see what Zack Snyder said about Batman, actually?
I've heard barely about it.
He said that Batman is boring if he's not allowed to kill.
Yeah, I knew it was about Batman
very
killing.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah. So there was something else that I was probably gonna, and this is why I should have made some notes, but I didn't. Yeah, one of the things was, and I can't show you it because I can't load up threads. He put a picture of like the logo thing.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that. It was the Superman's.
Oh.
The S symbol. Sorry, the hope symbol.
Sorry, I'm seeing something Doctor Who related on that I've missed.
This isn't about Doctor Who just yet. We're on about films, Joey.
Double bill premiere on Eurovision.
No, put it away.
It's a trailer. Everyone thought it was going to be a trailer. Wow.
Put it away. You can discuss that on your actual.
Did you say anything about the logo when I was distracted for a second there? Sorry.
I said I've seen it.
Cool.
That's about it.
So I don't actually need to get it up like I've just done now.
No.
But that is it.
Yeah, it's in the
and
snow.
Like you say, you've seen it.
I've seen it. It looks like a Superman logo.
For sure. So,
Definitely.
and that's the same post where he announced that it's just going to be called Superman, which I think makes a lot of sense because Superman Legacy makes it sound like he's already been about.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure, like, this isn't an origin, so he is going to have already been about.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he's still going to be, like, young in it. Like, he's just starting out. But anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, were you going to say something important? Doubtful.
No. Okay, less with the attitude, please. I am, like, a kick away from you. Just remember that.
Where is Svalbard? Is that in... Because they're in Svalbard right now. I don't know if they're filming or just scouting locations.
They might be looking for
It's kind of in Norway, kind of in the North Pole. It doesn't actually tell me exactly where it is.
Or they might just be,
So I'm assuming that it's for... What's it called? Fortress of Solitude. Did you say that already? Yeah.
The big ice place.
It looks like, because he just kind of filmed a thing on his iPhone, he said, that I assume they're maybe just location scouting it. Nicholas Hoult was on a podcast recently saying that they're filming it soon, and he probably filmed that podcast a little bit before it came out. I don't know how far it's going to be until they actually start filming it, but they are at least doing something about it now, more than just having cast confirmed. There's also a picture of a load of the cast, because they've got that guy, Metamorpho. I think he changes bits of his body parts, actually, not just into different people.
Is he like Harmful Off Boy?
Probably. Oh, they got Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
They've got Jimmy Olsen, which I think is good casting for that.
Wait, who is it?
Skylar Gisondo.
Skylar.
But that is Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen. Like, he's got freckles and everything.
He was in The Quarry. I'm not saying that's the only thing.
I don't even know
The
what that
Quarry
is.
is a game. At least that could be a completely different person now. Actually, I couldn't make myself look like a twat.
Maybe. You probably are.
Could you stop?
And then there was the other guy, Perry White. Is that the guy that works at the... I was going to say Daily Bugle for a second there.
Yeah.
Daily Planet?
Daily Planet.
Besides, some people are obviously going to be annoyed because he's not a white guy or something. But I don't know if I've seen him in anything before, but he looks like the kind of person that, from what I know, would be a good Perry White. But I don't know enough about the character personally. So yeah, I think he is normally a white guy in the comics. So
Have
that's
any
probably
other villains been cast, or is it just Lex Luthor for this first one?
Maybe if the guys from the Authority are going to be villains, or if they're going to be good guys in this one. They like try to be superheroes, but they just like kill a bunch of people or something. I think that's probably all we need to talk about with Superman, but I just didn't know how much you knew about it, so I thought it'd be cool to either see what you knew and like ask you about that. If not, I was going to like just kind of tell you about it, which I kind of did with some of it. Yeah, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited. I'm wondering if this kind of podcast is gonna take a bit of a turn when the DC stuff starts coming out, because obviously we said it, we kind of alluded to it earlier, but we're kind of falling off the MCU a little bit. Yeah, and a lot of the good stuff, especially even in the current MCU, the last really good thing was Guardians 3. And that's James Gunn.
The last thing I watched.
So if he's running DC, they might kind of switch places a little bit. It might become better than...
I hope it does. DC needs some good films after the mess that was The Flash.
Let me think of one good DC film. And you can't really count the Batman, can you?
I'd count the Batman.
It's like technically not in either
I really
of the
hope
universes.
that they don't connect the Batman with James Gunn's DC.
Yeah,
because I want that Batman to stay grounded.
I feel like from what he said, when he did the first big video, like announcing everything on Twitter or whatever, and then now he's on Threads, I think he explicitly said like this is in its own good kind of thing. So I think that's fine. I think that's going to stay. So that and Joker are kind of going to stay in there.
Joker 2 comes out soon.
I don't know how I feel about that one. I liked Joker, but then like it is kind of good, and I did enjoy it when I first watched it. But I think on rewatch, I probably wouldn't like it that much. But I think this sounds like they might do some interesting stuff with the second one, because there's a lot of rumors that it's going to be like a musical and stuff.
Yeah,
and obviously Lady Gaga's in it, and he's going to be in like a mental asylum, Arkham Asylum.
Probably.
It could be interesting, especially if they do a lot of like dream sequence stuff for the musical, or because obviously a lot of stuff. There was a little bit of things. You watched Joker, didn't you?
Yeah. A while ago, but yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, I only watched it like once when it first came out at some point. Not even at cinema, but
I watched it like 2 years after.
But you know, there's some small amount of like not dream sequence stuff, but like that woman's like not real or something, like in his head or whatever.
Yeah, his girlfriend. Who is not his girlfriend because she's not real. Well, she is real, but not the version.
Yeah, so now he's in like the asylum. They might take that to another level and make him, especially if he's like all drugged up or something.
Don't just stand there, you ape. Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
So yeah, we kind of, I don't know if I need to say any of this again, because we already alluded to the fact that the MCU's fell off.
It's fell off, yeah.
A lot of people were still very excited for this before the trailer even came out.
Yeah.
But I was a little bit cautious because of the MCU recently.
being the MCU.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure, and I was a bit worried. But then as soon as I saw the trailer, there's still a few doubts, not because of anything in the trailer, but just in general because of the MCU. But when the trailer came out, I thought I think it was really good.
Yeah,
I think it's a really good trailer. So I am excited for this one, and do think it is going to be. I don't want to say like save the MCU, but like it's going to be better than hopefully the stuff we've had recently. But at the end of the day, as well, it is just a trailer, so it could be shit still.
I just hope it doesn't do what Multiverse of Madness did, where like the concept of the multiverse just felt very limited in that, if you get me.
Yeah.
Like the multiverse, like the whole thing about it is the possibilities are infinite, and then Multiverse of Madness, all the strange variants and Wanda variants look the same.
Yeah, and they kind of just fall through some multiverses at one point in the film, and that's about as much as they do creatively with it.
So I'm hoping the multiverse. Well, I mean, it's TVA in it, so
they've got a lot more room to do weird stuff with it with Deadpool, because he can comment on how stupid it is.
I think on the set, some of the set photos, I don't know if it was true or like real, but it was the 20th Century Fox thing they were fighting on or something.
You can see that in the trailer as well.
Oh, okay.
When he's doing the big like throwing his guns around and catching mags, and it's in the background there. So that is definitely in it. So at some point they're probably going to just be. I think a lot of people say they think that's the Void from Loki.
Yeah.
Which it could be, because I guess we know the TVA's in it. And I guess he's just kind of going to be sort of like fixing the Fox universe in some way.
By just killing them.
Or just killing it off so that they can all
maybe.
come to the MCU and just make it work in the MCU. But I'm pretty sure they're planning on like probably just recasting
most of them.
So maybe they'll just
Because
kill them off.
I don't think Hugh Jackman's going to come back
No.
full time as Wolverine. I think this will be his last Wolverine film.
Because he's
they
already said that many times.
Yeah, they've also said that they're not touching Logan. So like everything that happened in Logan is still going to stay the same.
Yeah,
So,
I've seen a lot of people worrying about that. They're going to be like, this takes away from Logan, and they're going to go back and make sure make him not die in Logan. But I don't think that seems to be what they're doing.
Yeah,
it's going to be some like variant of him, or
it's either going to be a
earlier
variant
on in his life,
or it's just going to all take place beforehand.
It's like they assume everything's going to happen, just happens chronologically.
Yeah,
but I assume in this that still happens. They're just going to get a different Wolverine, or earlier on in his life. It's not. They're not just going to show up at the end of. I mean, it probably would be a very Deadpool thing to do, is show up at the end of Logan and save him. But I don't think they're going to do that.
No, because Logan had such a good ending. So
yeah,
I hope they don't.
Should be fine, I think.
Yeah, they'll leave it alone, I think.
Yeah. So I guess they probably are just going to kill off the Fox universe and then just recast at some point. Maybe.
Did you see in the trailer who showed up from one of the old films other than Wolverine?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Pyro.
Yeah. Because when I first saw the trailer, I just assumed it was some guy.
Yeah.
But I saw a few videos afterwards and people pointed that out. A lot of people had the same thing as me, where they just thought it was some guy. But yeah, as soon as someone pointed it out to me, I was like I knew what I remember what he looked like in the original films and the actor and stuff. I just didn't recognize it was him when I saw it. So as soon as they pointed it out, I was like, oh, I know what they're talking about. Yeah. So that's cool. There's going to be a few other cameos in this, I'm pretty sure. There's a few rumored ones when filming was happening.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to spoil any of them, because a lot of them was like literally pictures of them on set or something. Some of them weren't, I don't think, on set, but like I'm pretty sure some people said like Elektra from the like Ben Affleck Daredevil movie.
That really good film.
But that one I don't think was like
Is it going to have the
set.
training montage of her as well?
Is that like the basketball thing, or is that something else?
I think it's...
Or is the basketball thing in Catwoman?
That might be in Catwoman. The Elektra one, I'm pretty sure is her just in a room chopping up a bunch of sandbags with... what's the Evanescence song called? You know what I mean?
The Evanescence song.
The Evanescence.
The one.
The
yeah,
one.
I can't think what it's called, but I know what you're on about.
can't-
Bring me
to life. That's it. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that.
I was never emo. Sorry. Can't relate.
Sorry.
I think I'm fine saying the Elektra thing. It might end up being true, but that one's not one where it was like literally. There's one I could spoil right now that was seen on set, and I've seen the pictures of it, which is probably not a big deal if I do spoil it.
I think you've said spoilers enough that it's like a spoiler warning. So
okay, I'll say it,
if
but
they
just
want to.
skip forward for spoilers. I think I'm only going to spoil one thing because I can't even remember some of the other ones that have been
Go
said.
on.
I think it's the original Sabretooth from the first X-Men.
Yeah, I've seen
the one with the long hair,
the one-
not the Liev Schreiber or whatever his name is from Origins. I think he's in it, and they like chop his head off maybe or something. Or maybe I'm making that part up, but I've definitely seen a picture of him in it.
Do you think we're going to get original Deadpool
What, like
from
Origins?
Because I mean, he already killed
probably.
him in Deadpool 2, didn't he?
Oh, maybe not then because they killed him. But I suppose there's probably going to be like many variants
Yeah.
that look like that one. Maybe there's even variants that look even
Is it
worse.
going to be like
somehow.
the Ismahawk old style Deadpool versus Deadpool?
Yeah,
fight?
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember
I
that.
forgot about them. Some people were like, have they shown us Doom in this trailer? Like Dr. Doom? Because there's one guy that has like a metal mask, but to me, it's clearly not Doom.
Yeah.
It's just some post-apocalyptic guy.
Yeah, I don't think they'd
With
do
a hood
Doom
on.
in this film.
That's what I'm saying. They probably wouldn't do it in this film, and even if they did, they wouldn't just have him in a brief shot, on anticlimactic shot in a trailer.
Yeah.
They'd have it as like a secret reveal, or they'd probably like not even show him fully or something if they do it. But I don't think we're going to see him until like Fantastic Four. Yeah, I don't think he might be in it.
Yeah.
Because there is also at the end of the trailer when he's on the floor. I don't know if you saw this. There's like a front cover of a comic like next to him in the like void or wherever he is when he's on the floor, and it is like the Secret Wars, one of the Secret Wars covers, and it's got Doctor Doom on it.
Oh.
But I don't think that's like necessarily hinting that Doom's going to be in the film. More just that like obviously that's where they're heading. And I do feel like this film is going to be a big setup for Secret Wars. So I think it's more just hinting at that because I don't know too much about Secret Wars. I haven't really read a comic ever, really.
I've read a few, but I've not read Secret Wars. I've read the Captain America Hydra one. It's not important.
Yeah.
I read that one. It wasn't very good.
But I know the whole point of Secret Wars is kind of there's different multiverses and they put them in like battle worlds.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe like they're setting up like maybe the Void is going to be kind of battle world. At the very least, they're obviously setting up with the multiverse stuff.
Well, I reckon, the universe from Multiverse of Madness where Wanda kills the Illuminati. I
Yeah.
reckon that we're going to see that
That could
again.
be like, oh, you think the character
I
from that,
think
you mean?
it'd be
Yeah.
funny because you know how the lead up to Multiverse of Madness, everyone was like, "Oh, it's Superior Iron Man played by Tom Cruise." I think it'd be really funny if he's in that in Deadpool and it shows up. It's like this big thing, and then Deadpool just kills him.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that because obviously they did the John Krasinski, Reed Richards, which was just because everybody said to do it.
And then Black Bolt was also brought back.
Yeah.
And then had the most gruesome death.
Yeah. But no, that also reminded me with the Secret Wars thing because you were saying about Logan, the character, not the film, that he's probably not coming back, which I do agree they're going to recast him for when they do the MCU, but I think he might come back maybe for
Secret Wars.
the Secret Wars.
Well,
he might not be in it much, but might be in it.
They think Tobey Maguire might come back for Secret Wars as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well. Tobey Maguire and maybe Andrew Garfield, but I don't know.
he loves being Spider-Man, so he might come back.
What would you rather see, Spider-Man 4 or The Amazing Spider-Man 3, if they were to do one?
Well, with how much of a mess Amazing Spider-Man 2 was, I'm kind of worried about that. But also, Spider-Man 3, while it is a meme now, I didn't really like it that much. I'm going to get crucified for that. I still think it's like all right. I'm not saying it's terrible, but I just didn't really like it.
I think Spider-Man 4 probably would
be
better. But I also really like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And they could maybe actually make one that's good. But I don't know if it's worth risking doing it. But I'm only saying that because I think they were saying, like, I don't think there's plans to do it, but I think Sam Raimi said he would do Spider-Man 4.
Well, to be fair, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man's getting a lot more love because he was in Spider-Verse, wasn't he? That when Miguel's showing off the canon events.
Oh, yeah.
There's that clip from, I think it's Captain Stacy dies.
Yeah, and because that was the canon event, wasn't it?
Yeah, captains.
And even when he was in No Way Home, I think a lot of people
were surprised.
They were kind of like, oh, this is just reminding me how good he was as Spider-Man, even if the films weren't that great. So yeah, that's kind of talking about Secret Wars as well then. I don't know if there's anything else about Deadpool and Wolverine and Secret Wars. I suppose there is that moment where he's in Madripoor in the trailer, I think. It looks like Madripoor.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's going to speak to Wolverine.
And do you think it's going to be a variant?
I'm not sure. I know some people, it could be a variant. First of all, I know people said it's one called Patch, which is from a comic where he's like one of his alter egos where he's got an eye patch on.
Yeah.
And the white tuxedo.
Yeah.
So it's either just going to be that and Hugh Jackman. But some people say it might not also be Hugh Jackman. It doesn't really look like him.
No, I think because everyone wanted Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
I think it might be him because he matches the comic Wolverine, small, fairer little man.
That's what I was thinking. I think it could be Daniel Radcliffe, maybe Taron Egerton.
I was going to say they'll throw us off and make it Taron Egerton.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't be opposed to because,
But even if it is Hugh Jackman,
Egerton.
I still think the idea of it is still going to be that it's a variant that's not going to actually be the one that he works with in the film. I think we'll see a few variants. Some of them probably still played by Hugh Jackman. Some of them maybe not. It'd be fun to have one if they do a variant where it's played by Ryan Reynolds. That would be quite fun. I think they should do that.
I think they should do one where it's played by Danny DeVito.
Yeah. Did you watch the Corridor Crew video? Because they made a whole video where they CGI'd a trailer of Danny DeVito as...
No, I've not seen that. I'm just saying
as Wolverine in the
But I need to see that now.
Yeah. And then I know there was also... I think his name is Doug Ray Scott. Was originally meant to be Wolverine in the X-Men films. I think right up until filming was about to start. And then he had to film, I think, for like a Mission Impossible or maybe a James Bond. I think it was a Mission Impossible he was in. And Tom Cruise was like, you're not allowed to leave. You have to finish this film. That was like the only reason why Hugh Jackman ended up being Wolverine, basically, because he was like the second choice. So it's possible that he could be one of the variants in the film. But we could see Rob McElhenney Wolverine.
I hope so. There's a man called Paradox.
Oh yeah, which is confusing because you haven't seen Loki season 2 yet, though.
No, I have not.
Which is one of the only good things in the
MCU in a minute.
current MCU. There is Docs in that. Not Paradox, but Docs, but it's a different person. But I think that's more just because they named it after the character and it's not actually meant to be the character. But it's weird that they have that in both. But I know Paradox in the comics is meant to be like a variant of Morbius or something. Mobius.
Not Morbius.
Morbius.
You never watched Morbius, did you? I left the cinema shaking because I was wanting more Morbius. Fan-tastic. The Rise of Silver Galactus Surfer. Mr. Foxman. Tankfastics.
Yeah.
The casting. What is your opinion on the casting? Because I think we share the same feeling about it. Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards.
Vanessa Kirby, I think, is...
I thought it was that, but I didn't want to...
Sue Storm. Ebon Moss-Baccarat, I think his name is, from The Bear, is the Thing. And Joseph Quinn.
Is Human Torch.
I don't think we know anybody else yet.
Yeah. How do you feel about Joseph Quinn?
So
I've seen a lot of people are not
say,
very happy with it.
The main problem people seem to have with it is Joseph Quinn as Human Torch, which I actually am not. I can maybe see why people think that.
Well, I think the main,
But
one of the main things
I'm
I've
saying
seen-
that's not.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that's not the main problem I have with the
Yeah.
cast. I do have a problem with the cast, which
Yeah.
I'll get to. But
Yeah, the main thing people are like mad about with Joseph Quinn, I think, is he's not like doesn't match the comic blonde Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
And also you remember how the internet reacted to Eddie Munson.
yeah, I think that's the only reason. But it's like that doesn't mean everybody's suddenly going to be like, what's his name? Johnny Storm. Is that his name?
Well, I think it's just people are worried that he's not a very good actor, even though in Stranger Things he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, just because people got a bit crazy with his character doesn't mean that he's a bad actor. He seems like a good actor.
Like Eddie was a really good character in season 4, so
Yeah,
like I'm not worried about him at all.
kind of would want to see him return, but also not because people can go crazy again. But I also am probably not going to watch.
I want to watch.
I want to watch it.
I want to watch it, but I also don't want to because I don't want
to Noah Schnapp
and Brett Gelman.
Oh, he's the same. But I think also, whilst we're still kind of speaking of Stranger Things and Johnny Storm, I think, do you remember who I said a few years ago I would want to be Johnny Storm with my fan casting? We were on about it once. I think
Dacre Montgomery. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they picked the wrong guy.
I'm surprised they didn't pick him, to be fair.
But they are a similar vibe.
And he's fit.
Yeah, I'm actually fine with that. And that's why I'm confused why the main problem people seem to have with the casting is Joseph Quinn, because he's not the main problem I have. Do you think he's still?
I think he's going to be a good choice because he's a good actor.
First of all, I'll go with Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm next. She's probably fine. A lot of people said that that's who they wanted to play.
Yeah.
I must have seen her in something because I'm pretty sure she's in some Mission Impossible. So that's probably fine. I have no thoughts on that, basically. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I don't have any thoughts. The only one I've got
empty.
thoughts on are the same as you.
Okay, yeah, probably. Eben Moss Bacharach, I think is his name. I've not seen The Bear, and that's like the only thing he's in. Apparently there is something I've seen him in because he's in either Punisher or Daredevil. But besides that, the only thing I really know that he's in is The Bear, and I've not watched The Bear.
I've not watched The Bear either.
But there is a funny TikTok that I've got in my favourites that's based on The Bear.
No, do not show me your favourites again. You do that every
I can't do it
single
because
time.
my phone's over there, but
Yeah, luckily.
it's the one I'll try and remember to overlay in the video.
My cousin, we got 46 beef. Let's go. Fire everything. All right, let's go. Cousins dancing. I need 46 beef.
So I have no comment.
No
on
comment.
that. Although I do know, which I didn't know originally, but I'm pretty sure Ben Grimm.
Yeah, I said Ben Reilly then, not
I
Spider-Man.
think the character is meant to be Jewish in the comics. And normally they don't bother casting Jewish people, but I think even Moss Bacharach is either Jewish or from a Jewish family. So that's like
good.
a good thing. Because I didn't know until recently as well that Peter Parker's meant to be Jewish. And they never really...
I did not know that either.
Yeah, they never cast Jewish people for Peter Parker or bring it up at all. So it's interesting. Pedro Pascal.
Now,
which,
I'm just going to say it. Pedro Pascal as an actor, he's great. He did great. He's done
This
great
is
in
what I
pretty
wanna
much
make clear,
everything.
yeah.
He was great as Joel. He's great as Mando.
yeah.
He was great in Kingsman 2. Probably
He's
the
a
best
great
part of
guy as
Kingsman
well.
2. He's also a great guy. He's also, a dilf.
Yep.
Gotta preface that.
Yeah, I was going to say basically the same thing as you first as well. But he's the only one that I immediately have a problem. Not a problem. I don't want to say I have a problem with.
It's not a problem. It's just I don't really see it. But
Like you said, he's a good actor and he probably could do it.
yeah,
Well, first of all, I'll say Reed Richards. I mean, I don't like I say, I don't really read the comics. I don't really know the comics.
No, I
but
don't.
as far as I know, he's meant to be, and from other films like the first 2 Fantastic Four films and stuff, and just the general idea of how I think the character should be. He's meant to be quite arrogant, but also nerdy at the same time.
Yeah.
And I just haven't really seen Pedro do either of those.
Arrogant.
Like I said, I'm sure he can do it because he's very
really good at
talented,
being
and he doesn't
himbos.
always play the same character, but he does have a similar vibe in all his characters. But none of them that I've seen have been that.
overly intelligent.
Yeah.
From the line from Mando and Book of Boba Fett, is that a bench? As a bench has just been built in front of him.
Because he doesn't, to me, give off like nerdy vibes.
No.
In terms of any roles that I've seen him in, maybe a little bit in terms of
gives
his
off
real personality.
Awkward dad vibes.
Yeah,
Like,
and that could work as well because I think people have said they think that this is going to be they're going to already have kids possibly in this film, but I don't think that's just like a rumor. I
Yeah.
think so for that reason it could work, but I just don't see him being maybe the nerd thing. I can maybe see
But
being a
arrogant.
bit more easy, but arrogant. I think he could do it. I just haven't seen him do it before. So that's what I wanted to say about that, because the main thing I seem to see people kind of talking about is, like we were saying earlier, is Joseph Quinn. They're always talking about Joseph Quinn, whereas I didn't really have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And that's the only one they're talking about. Maybe
Yeah.
some people I've heard say the same sort of thing about Pedro, but
Yeah.
a lot of people are immediately just like, yeah, Pedro.
I'm going to be skeptical about it. I'm not going to assume Pedro's going to do a terrible job.
Like I say, I think he can do it. I've just not seen him.
It's not the matter of him not being able to do it. It's the matter of like
I can't even picture what it'd be like.
Yeah.
And I probably would have picked someone else.
Maybe
someone not as big as well.
I would have personally picked the Always Sunny cast to be the Fantastic Four cast.
Well, I think Glenn Howerton could have done it.
I think he could
and we've seen him do, maybe not nerdy, but we've seen him be arrogant. He can definitely do arrogant.
Yeah.
So that could have worked. And he was meant to be, I feel like I'm probably told you this before, or maybe you know
Star-Lord.
He was going to be Star-Lord, which I think would have been really, I mean, I like Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. Not that I like Chris Pratt.
I was going to say we don't like Chris Pratt.
I like Chris Pratt as
his Star-Lord is good.
But I think Glenn Howerton would have been good as that. And yeah, I don't know if you remember, I don't agree with my casting idea that I had.
Zachary Quinto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with
He's
very good at being smart, but I don't see him as
back before all of the, maybe Fantastic Four was just announced by Marvel at the time, or maybe it wasn't even announced at
I don't think
point.
it was. I think it might have been announced actually, because it was after Endgame we were talking about it.
So
and that's when they showed off everything that they had planned.
Yeah, so it was before like everyone was actually speculating and it was actually about to be cast and stuff. Like it wasn't like last year.
It was years ago. It was like back before COVID.
But yeah, I said Zachary Quinto, and I think I was mostly going based on looks for that. I don't think he's like perfect for it as I thought at the time. But that was around the same time I was saying Dacre Montgomery, which is one I still think would have been good. Potentially,
I can't remember.
I'm not sure if I picked the other ones.
Oh yeah,
I think we tried to figure out all of them, and the only ones
one.
I could think of were Reed Richards and Johnny Storm. And I think it's because they're, for me anyway, they're the main ones that I think you need to get right more than the others. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess you do. I guess Sue Storm as well because of her relationship with Reed Richards. But I feel like Reed and Johnny Storm are the main ones you kind of need to. They're the ones that are more difficult to get right, I think.
Yeah. Who do you think the villain's going to be? Do you think it's going to be Silver Surfer, Doom, or Galactus?
I've heard a lot
I know
of
there's
people
more
saying
Fantastic Four villains, but those are the main ones. Aren't
yeah,
they?
I've heard a lot of people saying either Galactus or Silver Surfer working for Galactus, obviously because he's a herald of Galactus, or a different herald of Galactus. Is what I've mostly heard. And they also think Antonio Banderas might be Galactus, but I don't know about that. Or Javier Bardem.
I think Antonio Banderas would be funny.
I think either of those would work.
Also it would work because,
I think we'll see Doom, because they're already friends, right?
Yeah, he's basing this off Fantastic. That wonderful clip where he's playing Assassin's Creed Unity at the start.
Yeah, but the one thing I didn't know, I mean, I've known it for years now, but back when I used to watch like the Fantastic Four films as a child and stuff, because he's just like a guy that's friends with them in like America. But in the comics, he's obviously like...
He has his own kingdom. It's not Latvia, is it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's
like
a real place.
Latveria.
I think it's Latveria. Yeah, it's Latveria. He's from there, and I think he ruled it at some point, but that's probably after he turns evil. And they've never really done that. I don't think they did it in Fantastic either.
No, because the way they did it was he was a scientist that went with them, and then they left him in that zone.
And so I hope, and I think they're definitely going to do that in this one. But people want it to be, the casting for it to be somebody who's, like, I think like Romani or something.
That'd be nice.
Because, I mean, obviously it's a fictional place.
Yeah.
But it's still like set in a real kind of geographic area, so that'd be nice. I think that's it for the casting, right, and the villains. Or was you going to say something about what you thought the villain?
I think it would. I mean, the other thing I was going to say was I think it would be good if it wasn't any of those three. Like if it was a different Herald of Galactus.
Yeah,
I don't want it to be Galactus straight away.
I'm fine with maybe the Herald of Galactus, and especially if they're still powerful as well, and not just they're like saying that Galactus is coming. That's it. Because then it's like when they do get Galactus, like maybe he's in it, but in like a Thanos type role.
Yeah.
Like early Thanos role. Which is why I probably think it shouldn't be Silver Surfer as well. I'm pretty sure there's like another Herald that's quite like big, like Hulk-like size, but I can't really think what he's called. Something like that where it's still like a strong, powerful guy.
Yeah, Silver Surfer.
And they make him the main villain, because then when Galactus does come, it's like, well, he's obviously more powerful than the little guy that he sent. And then there's obviously the whole looming threat throughout the rest of the whole MCU after that. But they're probably more building to Doom and Secret Wars.
Yeah, because...
So I don't necessarily know what they would be building to if they have Galactus in the background, but I don't know. Maybe they could do Secret Wars and then have it be Galactus. Because it was going to be Kang Dynasty and then Secret Wars, wasn't it? They could maybe do one with Galactus and then Secret Wars, but they could do Secret Wars and then Galactus.
Did they say what they're planning on doing with Kang? Are they just going to try and like completely erase?
I do remember hearing a point where someone thought he was getting recast and they thought they knew who he was going to be, but I haven't heard that.
You know how I think?
So I think they're just going to forget
recast
about it.
him, John Boyega.
Yeah, I've seen that, and that could be good.
But also, I don't think it'll work with Disney again after the mess that was.
Yeah.
The sequels.
I can get into another whole tangent about that, but I don't want to.
Let's save that for another time.
There's a lot of people that think he should have been a Jedi, and that's the one thing I don't agree with, actually. The Last Jedi is the best of the sequels.
I just prefer
Well, you can't say it's the worst.
I can't know. But I think we all know what the.
Yeah.
This dagger perfectly lines up with the Death Star debris.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes so much sense.
But anyway, we do need to get on to more about, because there's more I want to say about Fantastic Four anyway.
Okay,
Before we wrap up.
back to.
I don't know if you can have seen about this with the picture. The design, general design of it all
Looks like it's in the 60s.
looks like it's in the 60s, and they're holding up Life magazine, I think, with Lyndon B. Johnson on it, which is like, I think, probably just after JFK got assassinated and he took over or whatever, because he was vice president or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I think some people have said means it takes place in 1963 or 4. So it'll be in the 60s, probably, is what people think.
And also Herbie, he's
Yes.
there.
First of all, do you think it's going to be in the 60s? And how
I think so.
do you think that's going to work? Because like some people think, is it going to be that they are in a separate, like, or universe or whatever, and that's why we've not heard about them yet? Or it's just, they're going to kind of just be like, oh no, they were here the whole time. And then also, before you answer, if it's either of those, how are they going to bring them in with everybody else?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I think it would probably be set in the 60s, yeah. I don't think it'll be in a different universe, because then that, like, because they've already established that with bloody Multiverse of Madness going to a different universe,
Yeah.
some bollocks. So I don't think they'll be from a different universe, because if they're going to be part of the main MCU, that's going to be a bit difficult for them. I don't know. They could, like, be in the 60s, but then that kind of fumble everything. I don't know.
That's the thing. I think it's kind of weird either way. I like the idea of it being set in the 60s, because I know Matt Shackman did WandaVision. So setting in the 60s is going to look really cool. It's just either way, I don't know how it's going to be weird trying to meld it in with everything else that's going on. It's like what at the end of the film they just like, I don't know, invent a time machine or have another accident that sends them to the present day or whatever, and then what, they just stay there? Because it can't just be that happens and then they're trying to get back the whole time.
Yeah.
Because number one, time travel already exists in the MCU. So they could
Unfortunately.
probably get back quite easily.
Yeah.
But also, even then, it's like, well, surely we want the opportunity to be able to have these characters be able to stick around as long as we want them.
Yeah.
So that it's not just going to be they're here for a limited amount of time and then they go back to the 60s. Or is it going to be they just keep coming back and forth from the 60s to the future? And that's weird as well.
Yeah.
So I like the idea in the sense that I think the film being set in the 60s would be really cool, like visually and
I just
aesthetically.
don't know where it'd fit.
But I don't
in.
know how it's going to fit in with everything
Yeah.
else. I'm not as happy about the casting as I would have liked to have been. But
Well, like we said, the only one we're not too happy with is Pedro, and that's not because we don't like it. It's just
yeah,
we
we,
don't see
and we
it.
still like Pedro and think it's going to be good
Yeah.
with him.
So it's not really like, it's just skepticism more than anything. It's not.
Yeah,
like
we're not like
general hatred.
angry that
We're not-
they've cast him or anything like that.
And also, there's no, because a lot of people are angry, just like Reed Richards is white. It's just like who cares?
Yeah, no, there was a few actors that I kind of thought of and saw in other videos for fan castings before it got announced that were like black or like Asian. That I was like, there was the one guy in. I know he's also in The Good Place, which I've not seen. I think
Oh
it's The Good
yeah, I
Place.
know who you mean.
But he's in Ant-Man the Quantumania or Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, Quaz or whatever his name is.
I know who you mean. Yeah,
I think Dev Patel as well. He was saying, which I could kind of see, but I've not seen him in much. I think that's it.
I think that's it. I think we finally figured out no one wants to listen to us.
There you do.
Well, do they? Yeah, that's probably what.
Maybe next time we'll be back to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. That's kind of it for this one.
Kind of it.
I don't know how to outro these things really.
I don't. Do you just kind of say bye?
I know we can,
Is it? I don't think we can do that as an outro.
we're just gonna kind of leave.
Okay.
I hope this is royalty free.
I'm assuming it is. It's a bit loud.
Yay!
It's over.
How do I stop this?